They say time moves slow when you're young, but once you reach your 40s, it begins to slip through your fingers faster than you can catch it. For Clara Jameson, time had become something else entirely, a quiet companion, a reminder of what once was, and a whisper of everything she still hoped for. Clara lived alone now, in the old yellow house in Maple Ridge, Virginia, the house where she raised her son, the house where she lost her husband, the house where memories lived louder than the ticking clock on the wall. Most mornings Clara stood at the kitchen window, staring out into the yard as the early sunlight filtered through the old oak tree. The fall leaves drifted like orange snowflakes, dancing across the lawn in soft, swirling patterns. She held a warm mug of coffee. Though she rarely drank more than a few sips, her mind was always somewhere else, usually on her son Daniel, 35 years old, living somewhere she wasn't exactly sure of anymore. They hadn't really spoken in almost 3 years. She remembered when he used to call every Sunday evening. They'd talk about everything: his job, the weather, football games, recipes he wanted her to try, people he ran into at the grocery store. Small things, little things. But those little things meant the world to her. Then slowly, the calls grew shorter, less frequent, then stopped entirely. And Clara was left in a silence she never quite understood. Still, she left the porch light on every night, just in case. Just in case he ever wanted to come home. The LETTR in a cold October morning, Clara walked to the mailbox.
No.
Her cardigan wrapped tight around her shoulders as the crisp air nipped at her skin. She expected bills, flyers, maybe a magazine she didn't remember subscribing to, but instead, she found a single white envelope. No return address, but the handwriting. She knew it instantly. Her knees weakened. Her breath caught in her throat. It was Daniel's. She hurried inside, sat at the kitchen table, and opened it with trembling hands. The letter was short. Too short for 3 years of silence. But the words were enough to make her heart both break. Anhil, Mom, I'm sorry. I want to come home. If the porch light is still on, I'll stop by this Sunday, Daniel. Clara pressed the letter to her chest, tears rolling down her cheeks. Sunday, just 3 days away. Her heart hadn't raced like this in years. PARATRO, and for the next 3 days, Clara barely slept. She cleaned every corner of the house, even the ones no one ever saw. She washed curtains, polished picture frames, and pulled out Daniel's favorite dishes. She baked cinnamon rolls, the kind he used to sneak from the pan before they cooled. She even fixed the old porch lantern, one Daniel once begged her to replace. It's outdated, Mom, he had said. It's home, she had answered. Now the lantern glowed warm again, a golden beacon against the chilly autumn nights. On Saturday evening, Clara sat on the porch swing, letting memories wash over her. Daniel at age 5 running barefoot through the yard chasing fireflies. Daniel at 12 swinging a baseball bat with all the determination in the world. Daniel at 16 slamming the door after an argument, only to apologize 10 minutes later with that crooked smile of his. Daniel at 20, leaving for college with confidence and fear in equal measure, and then the memory that hurt the most, their final argument 3 years ago. Words spoken in frustration, words neither of them meant, words that hung between them. Ever since, she closed her eyes and whispered into the cool evening air, "Please come home, sweetheart, please." Sunday, arrive. Sunday came slowly, the kind of day that felt heavy with meaning. Clara woke before dawn, her heart beating loud enough she wondered if the house could hear it. She set out fresh cinnamon rolls, brewed coffee, and waited on the porch. She checked the driveway every few minutes, even when she knew she hadn't heard a car. At noon, nothing. She kept waiting. At 3, still nothing. Her heart squeezed painfully, but she stayed seated. At 5, the light dimmed. The sky turned hazy orange. Clara felt her hope begin to crumble. Maybe he changed his mind. Maybe something happened. Maybe she had hoped too much, believed too deeply. Her eyes filled with tears, but then she heard it. The soft crunch of gravel beneath tires. A car slowed, stopped, and her breath vanished. Door opened. Daniel stepped out, older, hollow-eyed, carrying a weight that made his shoulders slump. And when he looked at her, she saw the boy he once was and the man he had become all at once. "Hi, Mom," he said softly, 2 simple words. They shattered every wall around her heart. Clara stood, walked toward her, and they embraced a hug 3 years overdue, holding every apology, every regret, every unspoken love. The porch Tielka. They sat on the old porch swing, the porch light glowing warmly above them. Daniel stared at his hands for a long moment before speaking. Mom, I'm sorry I disappeared. Life got messy. I made mistakes. I didn't want you to see me like that. Clara took his hand gently. Hey, Daniel, there's nothing you could ever do that would make me stop loving you. He swallowed hard. When Dad died, I didn't know how to grieve. I pushed you away. I pushed everyone away. Clara felt tears prick her eyes. I didn't handle it well either. We lost him. But somehow we lost each other too. They talked for hours about life, loss, the pressure of becoming an adult, the guilt he carried, the loneliness she felt for the first time in years. Their hearts spoke louder than their fears. The healing WIA Daniel stayed the whole week. Together they repaired the backyard fence, laughed while burning dinner, walked to the farmer's market and sat on the porch each evening watching the sunset paint the sky, piece by piece. They rebuilt what had fractured. One night Daniel looked up at the porch light. It's still on, he whispered. You really kept it on all this time? Clara nodded. Yeah. I never stopped waiting for you, no matter how long it took. Daniel's eyes softened. Mom, I don't want to disappear. Again, I want to come home more if you'll have me. Clara squeezed his hand, her heart overflowing. I never stopped wanting you home. The message of the porch ledged at the house, once quiet and lonely, filled again with warmth and laughter. The halls echoed with familiar footsteps. The kitchen smelled like cinnamon and fresh coffee. Life breathed again, and the porch light, the simple, imperfect lantern Daniel once called ugly, became a symbol of everything they had regained. A symbol of unconditional love, a symbol of forgiveness, a symbol of the people who wait patiently, even in the darkest nights, for the ones. They love to come home because sometimes all it takes is one small light shining in the dark to guide someone back where they belong.